You know what? Let's just forget the words and sing along and speak to Justin Roiland. Justin, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Sir, thank you for calling in. I'm really happy that we get a chance to talk to you here. We made these arrangements just because we're big fans of the show, and season 2 is underway. We're about 3 or 4 episodes into season 2, and we're very excited. And just by luck, the announcement right before we get to talk to you the other day was that you signed for season 3.
Yeah. We season 3 is official. We're excited.
I would be. Just
it's
please,
happening.
Please just make it shorter between seasons than season 1 and 2.
Yeah, believe me, Lazo. We're working on ways to try to speed things up. That would make Lazo very happy. We're painfully aware of these insane breaks that we have.
Were you when you put this show out and you came up with the idea for the show? Obviously, it's a passion project for you and Dan, but did you have any inkling that this show would blow up to the level that it did?
No, not at all. I mean, it's crazy because, obviously that's the hope. Like, the hope is that, hey, maybe this will catch on and people will really like it. And I think, we obviously followed our bliss in developing it, like creating a vehicle that was sort of going to be the most effortless for us to kind of tell the crazy stories we want to tell. But we had no idea that it was going to blow up like it did, as quick as it did. We kind of figured, hey, like as a sci-fi show, you've got a family, so that's a pretty easy point of entry for most people. You're sort of Trojan horsing high sci-fi concepts in through the guise of like just a regular family animated sitcom, which tends to connect with a lot of people. So we knew we had that going for us, but we really had no we had no idea that it was going to get this popular so quickly. It's really humbling and awesome.
Did you think
wait, real quick, can I ask you, did you have Nikki Bella on, or the Bella twins on?
She's coming on a little bit later.
Oh man, tell her a huge fan.
Oh, definitely will.
Me and my fiance watch the Total Divas all the time, and it's crazy. I had lunch with Seamus, and I think half the time we were just talking about, or I was just asking him, like, how fake is that show? What's going on? Like, what's really going on? Give me the dirt,
That's so weird to ask a wrestler who gets asked all the time how fake is wrestling, for you to say, how fake is that reality show?
Yeah, exactly. It's cool. We all know wrestling's fake, so now let's get to let's talk about this.
God damn it, Justin. Now you ruined that and Santa Claus for me.
Man.
Next thing you know, the Tooth Fairy will be bunk.
Yeah. So did you... I have a question. Did you think, because I saw the original like Rick and Morty Channel 100 animation probably like close to 10 years ago or so.
Yeah. Did
you think when you made that it was going to blow up into this TV show, or is it something you revisited and said, hey, that was a great idea, we should keep going with that?
It's crazy because, here's the thing. Like, I made that short just to blow off some steam. Obviously, yeah. Yeah. I love to... I've told people this before with that original short. It was like, it was being screened in front of an audience of like 400 people. And I just love to hear an audience scream in disgust. and it's such a cool feeling. And that's the only reason why I made that, really was to just hear a bunch of people go, oh, God, please, change it.
Yeah, when I was watching it in my dorm room, and I remember people coming in and basically saying that. They're like, why are you watching this? And I'm like, it's fucking hilarious. Like, this is great.
Yeah. It definitely made me laugh really hard, but part of that laughter was infused with the idea that 300 people were going to be watching this in a theater, and like, just like, oh, how funny is this? They're going to be so freaked out when this like escalates the way it does. But like, obviously, it's like a really bad, spoof of Marty McFly and Doc Brown.
Yeah.
And I was like really just kind of blowing off steam. But then what happened is, throughout the course of making that, I really found like that doing my horrible impressions of these characters was so much fun. So I kept kind of plugging those two voices into all these different projects over the years. So it's kind of like, it isn't so much that Dan saw that and said, this is something, like this is something special. He definitely saw the joy that went into it, and like just the unbridled, happiness that I had making it. But like, nobody said, "Oh, this is something special. We need to do something with this." I just kept plugging those voices in. And when Dan called me and said, "Hey, Adult Swim wants to do a show, what do you got?" I was like, "Well, what about these two voices that I keep putting in everything that I develop?" Wow. And he's like, "Yeah, those are great. Those are great." So we kept. I just kept forcing it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like anybody was like, "Oh, this is great." I just kept forcing them into everything I did. So eventually, if anything struck, it was going to be with these two voices. I don't know why.
Is the Morty voice a take? You remember the old claymation Davy and Goliath?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Davy has that weird, like almost stuttering, high-pitched voice. Well, I don't know if we should do that like that. And Morty does the same thing. Is it based on that, or is it just a coincidence?
No, that's a coincidence. I mean, it was really my horrible Marty McFly. And then, when we do the pilot, because like you saw, I mean, obviously we were just talking about the original short. In the original short, it's much higher pitched and way more annoying. And that was the way I was playing it in the pilot. And Lazo hated that. Like he didn't like it. A lot of people didn't really like it. And so we actually were casting. We had 2 rounds of casting to replace me as the Morty voice. And the whole while I was like, I think I can, like I think it's important that I do both of these voices, just because I'll run scenes as the 2 characters, and that's kind of important to the creative process in terms of just the tone of the show. So I kept very respectfully, honing it and asking, like, what can I do to sort of win you over? And, the big thing was, like, just make him a little deeper, a little more grounded, not as annoyingly warbly and high-pitched. And then I think that, so I did that, and I won him over. I did the pilot, and then I kind of slowly, like went back to that. I mean, it's like kind of like over. I mean, it's still not as crazy as it was, but like I slowly kind of crept back up into that area from time to time. On certain episodes, it gets like, oh, geez.
I think you hit that. I think you hit that register in the episode of The Sex Robot. You came out and drank orange juice, and you're like, back upstairs, and then you ran.
Yeah. That's one that I don't think they can rerun, like, before a certain time, because it's like we got a 14-year-old kid character that's having sex with a busty sex robot upstairs in his bedroom,
and impregnates her.
That he's making Zardoz babies with.
But one of the unique points of writing for this show is that particular scene. I'll use for those who don't know. While Morty's upstairs with this sex robot. Downstairs, the setting is the family's at the dinner table having a meal, having breakfast. Sorry, the breakfast table having breakfast, and they're hearing the noise of the bed springs upstairs, and they're all just looking at the ceiling and looking at each other like this is really awkward, and it keeps going, and the mom's like, I think you should go upstairs and do something about this, and he's like, oh, he's a kid, whatever, and then the grandfather, who is Rick, is down there, and is like, leave him alone and whatever. Morty comes down, has orange juice, goes back upstairs, he continues, and then he says, Rick, could you come up here, please? So Rick goes up there, and then the father just goes, okay, now this is weird. I'm going up there. I'm like, wow, that's really, really deep and dark to get away with on a Cartoon Network.
Well, Adult Swim technically, but yeah, like, I mean, we have the full support of the network, and they've been incredibly I don't know what the word, just like cool with us doing whatever we want to do, within reason, obviously. We self-police, ourselves. We kind of like, in the writer's room, we're real cautious. Like, we don't want to cross, there's certain lines you don't want to cross with the audience. You want to make sure all the characters stay relatable, and all the characters are that there's no kind of, nothing that the audience sees and gets turned off.
I would love to know what kinds of things you decided not to
I was
put
just thinking
in.
the same thing.
Yeah, so I'm guessing the parallel universe Rick and Morty hookup isn't going to happen.
No, that won't likely happen, despite the desire by many to see it. But yeah, no, I mean, it's hard to even, like, there's so many ideas in the writer's room, you know what I mean, that we sort of, like, self-filter. I couldn't even think of a specific one. But we have a really good sense of, like, maintaining our characters and keeping everything, keeping the show and all the characters from doing anything that would turn anyone off in any real significant way. You know what I mean? Like, obviously we want people to love these two characters despite their flaws. I mean, Rick is a very flawed character, but if you kind of show glimpses of, his sort of weaknesses and stuff, it kind of makes him more human, and you can kind of accept. Also, he just doesn't give a. Can you swear on this?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. So it's like you kind of respect him for it. It's like, okay, he's a dick, but like he owns it,
Well, I think if anyone watched last week's episode, they'll definitely know that Rick's got some feelings by the end of that episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's got demons. He's got a lot of issues, but he's also pretty awesome too. So.
So with all of that being said, if you were given the opportunity to do, let's say, like a Rick and Morty movie, direct to DVD or something, do you think you would kind of go balls to the wall with it? Or would you just push that line just a little bit further than you think you could now?
Honestly, I don't think I would change anything. I think if we were to do a movie, it would just be us really figuring out, okay, because a lot of times in the writer's room with an episode, the standard sort of like cliched sci-fi premise, we try to burn through that within the first act and then continue going forward and escalating it further to places not very many people or potentially nobody's ever done, and just see how that goes. And I think we'd probably find ourselves doing the same with a movie, but times 10, you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
How can we really take some kind of sci-fi thing and just blow it out and burn through the initial, tried and true premise within the first 10 minutes, and then just go so much further with it. But I don't know, like right now I'm just like, how can we just get the episodes done on time? You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine adding a movie into the pipeline. That would really gum up the works.
With season 2 and the way the direction was going towards the end of season 1, when did it? So, because it's Rick and Morty, but when did you decide, along with the writing, to focus more on Rick's antics? It's sort of like, when The Simpsons started out, they were focusing on Bart, but they realized Homer was the star. Was it something like that?
No, I mean, honestly, I think like we always kind of knew. I mean, once we got into writing the first season, we kind of knew like Rick's just such a more dynamic character. You know what I mean? Like Morty just really is a high school kid, and then he's got layers to him. But Rick is just so much more. There's so much more going on, stuff that we don't even know as writers yet. We're not even fully informed as to what Rick's full backstory is, and he's just such a dynamic character with so much shit going on that it was inevitable that we were going to really focus in on him from time to time moving forward with the show. Wasn't really a lot of times in we don't really have a master plan that we follow. We kind of just follow our bliss in that room. It's like whatever storylines or concepts really get us excited, those are the ones that we keep moving forward with. And a lot of stuff that we may really want to do kind of just falls by the wayside just for lack of initial excitement or continued inspiration, behind the ideas.
Any chance there's
organic?
Is there any chance there's going to be like another like Rick's the Minutes type episodes coming up where maybe they watch House of Cosby's?
Oh God, how depressing is the whole Cosby thing?
Oh my God! Well, I was rewatching it with I was watching House of Cosby's with my roommates, and they're like, "This is just kind of sad and creepy and weird and funny all at the same time right now."
I'll point out when the Cosby situation really got depressing. Not that it's not a bad scenario for all the women that allegedly said all this happened to them. But for me, I grew up listening to Cosby's records. My dad had the records, so I listened to all of that stuff. And, of course, watching The Cosby Show.
Bad Albert.
Here's where it got depressing for me, which was...
Picture pages?
No, screw picture pages. I told this story. I still never got my Mortimer Ichabod marker, and my mom sent the check. I never got the damn thing, so that's the grudge I hold with Bill Cosby. But outside of that, he was good with me up until all this recent stuff. What really got me depressed was when they took the sweater out of the Museum of Television or the Smithsonian, something like that. The Smithsonian. Yeah. They took the sweater out, which was there with Fonzie's jacket and Archie Bunker's chair and all that, and
they found semen on it.
I was going to say, did they blacklight it?
Stain. Yeah,
the blue sweater.
It's almost like this is a parallel universe where Bill Cosby is a rapist. Isn't that crazy?
It's a bummer because like you guys, I grew up as a huge fan, and the inspiration for House of Cosby's came from a place of love and like just like he was a father figure and just a good guy, one of the good guys.
Yeah.
So when all this stuff came out, it was like just so depressing and heartbreaking because it was like, well, he's not a good guy like we all thought, and that sucks. And me and my buddy Savan were going to continue House of Cosby's. And sort of wrap that storyline up, but it's like I'm not going to touch it now. Like it's like you said, like you go back and watch it now, and it's so creepy. It's like this poor guy's surrounded by Cosbys.
So many of them. He's got bathtub Cosby. He's got Cosby 10. He's
They
got
all
of
have
them.
drinks.
Oh, Jesus.
The worst.
Did you with writing season 2? Is it true that you responded to a lot of the listener backlash as far as Rick's belching and burping while speaking in his dialogue to cut that down?
No, like we even in season 1, like just naturally that started to shrink a little bit, and just across the first season, because the truth is that was always kind of part of that voice, and obviously when you're making a 5-minute short, it's fine, but when you go in to make 10 or 11 episodes of 22-minute shows, I don't command burps as effortlessly as one might seem. Like I'm not like Sarah Chalk can do it. I'm jealous. Like she can burp on command. I can't do that. So the process is really disgusting because I'll run through the script as scripted for both characters. Then I go and run scenes where I kind of just improv scenes with the two characters, and that's always important for every episode. And then the last thing I'll do is I'll start doing burp takes where I go back and there's a certain amount of lines that I circle that I want to go back and do burps in the middle of the line. And I'll tell the engineer, just leave it open. Like just keep recording. I don't know when the burp's coming. And I have a beer, like a low-calorie beer, and then like a bottle of water. And I just suck air into my stomach and then like wait for the burp to come. And then I'll be like, whatever the line is, like, Morty, you gotta get over here, Morty, in the middle of a line. And it's fucking gross. It's horrible. It's the worst.
All you have to do is get one great take and do what they do for Barney Gumble on The Simpsons, because every time he burps, it's the same burp for 26 years.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, I like the burps to be integrated into the line.
Yeah.
I like the idea that Rick has this gastrointestinal issue that he ignores. He powers through it. You know what I mean? It doesn't trip him up, or rarely does. We even have notes, like the design notes for the animators. Like whenever Rick burps, don't make him go cross-eyed or wall-eyed like Barney. He needs to stay focused. Like his eyes should always stay focused when he burps. And that's something that they're constantly always fucking that up, because we'll get color back and it's like, oh, he's doing that thing with his eyes again. He needs to stay focused, like it doesn't faze him at all.
It kind of reminds me of if you remember the old kids show, You Can't Do That on Television. The guy who ran the burger place, Barth.
Yeah,
he would do the same thing as he talked to the kids.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, like naturally, I think just naturally, despite. I actually haven't even seen that much. I try to stay away from it for the most part, but I haven't seen that much discussion about the burps, so I didn't even know that was a thing. But
I didn't either until I was out at San Diego Comic-Con, and I heard people talking about that, and I said,
"Oh wow,
why? There's so many things to talk about. Why are you nitpicking on that?" But it seemed to be a big deal, and then I looked up online, and there was blogs and message boards and stuff saying petitioning to cut that out.
No, see, my inclination would be at that point to just hit the gas pedal on it, and do 20 times as many, just to bother those people.
Yeah, exactly.
So wait, people want the burps completely cut out?
Well, they're saying that it was too much, that it was too disgusting.
I
feel
think it's
like
great.
That's not the demographic for the show.
I was going to say, if the burp is what's grossing you out, then really you should not be watching that show.
Right, and these are the same people that are like, they put this on instead of Squidbillies.
I mean, listen, I get it. Everybody has a different perspective on that kind of stuff. Like to me, like farting and stuff, that would be like I mean, I don't know. I would be like, oh, come on, that's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Like, and I think to a lot of people that's how they perceive the burp stuff. It's just like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you being so? It's just so juvenile. I can get it. I totally get that, but that's not my I don't have that same perspective on burps. It's kind of like, and I don't necessarily think they're funny either. That's the weird thing. I don't know why we even do it. It's always been a part of the character's voice, and we kind of never even. I don't think we've even ever had a creative conversation about it. It's just kind of been part of it.
You also just wrote yourself another storyline because you said Sarah is really good at the belching. Maybe a one thing where Rick and her switch minds, and she's got to be Rick and just belch through the whole scene.
Yeah. I mean, we do have a scene in season 1. I think it's the Counselor Rick's episode where she actually does burp to kind of show off for all the Ricks that are hanging out in the house.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was when I discovered how easy it is for her. I was like so jealous. Oh man.
You know, it's funny. You say you don't even consider it that gross, right? And then obviously there's this whole contingent of people that want it to stop. I found, like, I actively noticed it probably the first handful of episodes that I watched. But the more I watched, it's not that I didn't notice it. Like, I know that it's there, but it's just part of the character. And I don't even think about it as a burp. I just think about it as that's just his speech. That's the way he communicates, and that's just part of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I think that's how we've been thinking of it for ever. I mean, even before we started working on the pilot, I think, and part of the reason why is because I had done a handful of shorts with these two voices, and that was sort of just how he talked. And so when we went into the pilot, that was just, it wasn't even a discussion. It was just, I mean, listen, if Harmon had said to me, I think we should lose the burping, we would have probably had a conversation and potentially that would have happened, but it just never even came up. It was just like, it was weird. So looking back on it, it's like, yeah, that's kind of, we never even thought about it.
Well, season 2 is on right now on Adult Swim. Sundays, it's 11 o'clock, right, or 11:30?
Sundays at 11:30.
11:30.
This next episode is one of my favorites of the season. It's really, really great.
Well, I don't know how you're going to top last week's episode with blips and chips.
Yeah.
So awesome.
I want to play Roy.
Who doesn't want to play Roy?
I know.
You know you're going to have to put...
Virtual reality stuff is really going to break next year, and then I think within the next 4 or 5 years, it's just going to be insane. It's going to be really insane.
So are you saying you're going to make Roy within the next 4 or 5 years? Because that's what I'm hearing.
It's probably going to be part of the... You know how Adult Swim puts out those game apps?
Yeah.
You got to do that.
I'd play.
I hope he just makes the Rick and Morty game where I'm Rick or Morty. That'd be even better.
Well, or you can wait for Roy 2 when you're Dave.
Roy 2, Dave. Yeah, we definitely want to do... I mean, Harmon and I are huge gamers, like almost to a fault, as in it gets in the way of productivity. But so we would love to do a video game, and that's definitely something that eventually we hope we get the chance to do.
So yeah, definitely a game. Season 2 is it was 8 episodes for season 2? 10, great. So we're almost at the halfway point. So you still have time to go on demand and check out what you've missed so far. Of course, season 1 is out on DVD. You can get it on iTunes. You should definitely support these guys here. It's an amazing show.
You can get the comics too, and the comics are great.
Right, the comics are out.
Yeah, comics are really incredible. Zach Gorman and CJ Cannon are the writer-artist team, and it's just beautiful. And it's really cool. We're just kind of letting them do their thing. Like, we're not, I made the decision early on, let's just get a good writer and just let them do whatever they want to do and just have fun with it and make it their own thing.
Was it weird when they started to do it, and then you're like, I know I gave my blessing for them to write it, but you're seeing somebody write for your own creation. Is that, you sit there and look at it and go, wow, this is a little weird?
No, I mean, I love it because it's like, it's just surreal. It's like, oh my God. And some of the stuff I'm like, shit, this would have been really cool to explore for the show. So I'm kind of like, God, this guy's going to do all the best ideas before he's on a different schedule than us. He's able to just turn these things around. But
you're going to turn into your own Marvel. You'll make your movies, and then they're going to say the comics were better.
Yeah, I know, right? No, I mean, I really love the comics. I'm a fan, and it's so cool to have a comic based on something that you've created. It's really neat.
You guys also had an impressive display at the Adult Swim. I'll call it like a carnival or festival that was set up right outside of San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh yeah.
When you walk in, the spaceship is dug into the ground and it's crashed, and the glass is broken, and Marty's sitting in there like petrified with his mouth open, and Rick's walking away from the wreck with his flask like it was no big deal.
Yeah, it's amazing. I saw so many pictures of people like posing with Rick and stuff.
Right.
And then,
I'm one
also,
of them.
Of course,
I'll post it later and embarrass myself.
Yeah, do it, post it. But we also got a lot of backlash from a lot of the drunk driving organizations because we were promoting drunk driving, which we weren't.
All you have to say is, "There's a spaceship."
Yeah.
Argument over.
They didn't know there was a planet there.
Right, exactly. Before we get out of here, Justin, I do have to ask you about your Simpsons, the beginning slate that you did for The Simpsons, where Rick and Morty crashed into the couch gag and kind of took over. You guys haven't been around that long, and The Simpsons only in the last handful of years started inviting guest animators in to do some things. What was that like when you got the call that they wanted you to do that?
It was insane. Because obviously, everybody in animation has been influenced by The Simpsons, whether they want to admit it or not. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the show, and I've been since I was a little kid. So, even to just hear that Matt Groening really loved Rick and Morty, I couldn't believe it. I didn't believe it at first. I was like, no, that's. I need proof. I need evidence of this. And then I'm friends with a few writers like Tom Gamble, Max Prost, who've been writing on it for like 13 years. And then when they reached out to me and told me, I was like, holy crap, he's a fan. So that whole thing was weird because I asked him if he wanted to do a commentary track on the DVD, and he enthusiastically agreed to do it. And then during the recording of that commentary, which is on the DVD, the season 1 DVD, Al Jean actually offers us a couch gag in the middle of the commentary. And when my coordinator got back from that, I told my line producer, this guy Mike Mandela, I'm like, you got to call Al Jean and find out if that's a real offer. If it is, yes. The answer is
you
yes.
said it, no backsies.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, that's insane. I mean, like you said, we're a season 1 show. It's just humbling and crazy to be invited to do something like that on such a legendary show like that. It's crazy.
Well, I'm very happy for all of your success. I'm really happy that season 2 is here and season 3 just got announced. So, like we said, hopefully it's a short time between. I know there's a lot of work in animation and that goes into all of this. But when season 2 is over to when season 3 starts, Giddles wants a video game.
I can't wait. I want to get the shirt that has the Rick and Morty like video game cartridge, like an 8-bit adventure one. I think.
Yeah.
I think it was posted from like the Zen Studios or whatever. It looks awesome.
Yeah, Zen Monkey Studios. Yeah, we're actually.
That's our pal Josh Merman.
Yep.
Yeah, Josh. Yeah, we're making a bunch of. What's awesome is we just started the process of making several designs for each season 2 episode. So like the way it's going to work is hopefully the goal is to have this start after episode 5. We're going to launch a couple of T-shirt designs a day or 2 after the episodes air. So it's going to be really cool.
That's kind of like what
Venture Brothers
did with their T-shirt club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We have some amazing designs, and they're all directly tied into episodes that are coming out. So it's pretty awesome. Like people will be able to get T-shirts that are based on episodes that just aired days before. It's really neat. I'm super excited. And
I want a "What's Up My Glib Globs" T-shirt.
That's a real. I want to say that's somebody. We have 2 T-shirt vendors. We have Ripple Junction and Zen Monkey Studios, and I think one of those guys had that design. I don't know what's happening with it. Yeah.
Does it come in a ladies' cut? Probably not.
Yeah. I've been pushing for ladies' cuts, believe me.
Well, since Lisa opened the door, don't forget your friends here, Justin. So as shirts come by, we would proudly wear them each and every day.
Yes.
Is there anything that we didn't cover here? Rick and Morty, 11:30 Sunday nights on Adult Swim.
I just wanted to say real quick that the collection of the first 5 issues of the comic book is coming out in November. So it's a few months away. You'll be able to get those first 5 issues if you don't have them already.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Pick it up.
Now you just need to tie in with some kind of vinyl toy like Funko.
There you go.
Yeah, we're working on that. We that commercial we made, that like part of the idea behind that was I was hoping it would get everyone pissed that they weren't real toys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That
worked.
Would cause the network to go, oh, well, maybe we should make toys because everyone's bothering us now that this commercial was made and it's not real.
Good idea.
Well, I'll tell you this. If you didn't learn from the past, when South Park did Alabama Man, people were actually writing in to try to buy Alabama Man. He can bowl.
Alabama man.
Shut up. Boom. The good old days. Anyway, Justin, thank you so much. It's Justin Roiland TV on Twitter, or is it just your full name?
I think it's just RoilandTV.com.
Roiland TV.
And on Twitter it's at Justin Roiland.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, final thank you for New York Comic Con last year. We came up to do an interview with you, but I guess you guys were delayed in time and what have you, and there were so many roundtables and whatnot. Giddles and I didn't get a chance to do an interview, but we did get a chance to meet you and Dan at New York Comic Con, and they couldn't have been nicer. They signed a DVD for us with Chris Parnell that we're going to give away for Season 1, and I got to tell you, I've never seen Giddles happier than when he saw real-life Mr. Meeseeks.
Oh, yeah.
He ran over and gave him a hug like a kid seeing Mickey for the first time.
I have problems, and they can solve them, apparently.
Yeah. I wish they were real.
Any more Mr. Meeseeks in the future? Or I read something that you don't like to revisit stuff.
Well, no, you know what it is? It's always harder to, in the writer's room, it's always harder to start with some sort of objective or agenda. Like, oh, hey, let's do another Meeseeks episode. Okay. Because already you're in a box. Like, you're having to work within a box. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we don't ever want to do it. And obviously, like, now we're kind of like, shit, we should commit ourselves, or just reserve a little bit of time to really try to think of some cool ideas. But I try to approach it where it's like inspiration is like a good idea can't be forced. So it's like when they float into your head, you want to just grab them and listen and do those. And so I think if any like previous characters that we've introduced that people really like, I think it's better for us to have some kind of great inspiration or awesome idea rather than forcing it. But I think with the Meeseeks and with Evil Morty, those are two things that we're going to probably try to task ourselves in Season 3 to revisit in a cool way.
Well, I can't wait to see all of that. You have very big fans here at this program.
Thank you.
Justin, you're welcome anytime if you're in New York, or even if you just want to shoot the shit, give us a call, talk about whatever we're doing. Always welcome. Are you at New York Comic Con this year or no?
I don't know. I don't think so. I have a backpacking trip, which is weird because I'm not a real outdoorsy person, but I'm trying to figure out if I can move that or not.
Okay.
But yeah, I want to. I love New York, and I love the convention is so much better in New York than in San Diego.
Yeah.
It really is.
Don't pull your hometown bullshit here.
No, you know how I feel about San Diego.
Yeah, no, it's great. I want to go, but I'll let you know. I'll let you know if I do. And hey, tell Nikki Bella that I'm a huge fan. Ask her if she knows the show.
I will.
Hey, do you know Rick and Morty?
And if you can go as Rick, tell us to fuck off as you're leaving here.
Hey, fuck off. Get the fuck out of here.
Justin, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Much success for Rick and Morty.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you soon, man. Take care.
Yeah. Bye.
How awesome was that?
That was awesome.
Justin
really
is so cool. Hopefully next time he's around in New York, we get to have him in here live, and people call in, field questions, whatever. Somebody was on the phone, but they disappeared, and I meant to ask, and I forgot. Was there word about a spinoff for Rick and Morty?
I haven't seen anything.
I haven't heard anything about that.
I find it hard to believe. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but I find it hard to believe when they're still kind of finding themselves in Season 2 or Season 3 on the horizon. It seems to me it's a little early for a spinoff, but maybe there's something in the works.
The thing is, I don't think they need a spinoff because they're doing a really good job
That's what I mean,
of
like
the Beast stories with Jerry and Summer, and they're having like pretty good Beast stories.
Yeah.
Like, you usually don't get that in cartoons, so I don't think they really need a subplot yet.
Well, the
spinoff, rather.
Jerry, what was it? The Jerry Daycare?
The Jerry Baree.
Jerry Baree. That's all I'll say from one of the episodes from season 2.
I love that.
Amazing concept. Go check out Rick and Morty on demand for Adult Swim. I don't know if they put the episodes up on the website or not, but look for your on demand. You'll find them somewhere.
On Adult Swim has all of season 1 and all of season 2 thus far as well.
Sweet.
Oh, there you go. Don't have to pay for cable.
There you go.
Just go online and do that.